I have with me Andy Street, the Mayor of West Midlands here, speaking on NDTV. Many thanks for speaking with us. My first question is with regards to the much talked about FTA between India and the United Kingdom. We've seen one timeline that was projected earlier of Diwali being crossed now. I understand that was because of the political turmoil within the UK. What about the FTA or the trade deal now that we have Rishi Sunak at the helm of affairs?
So the good thing is, of course, we do now have a very stable government, and I'm sure Rishi Sunak will be expressing his determination to get the trade deal done. But the important thing to think about here is this is a matter which is deeply important. It's not an urgent matter, and we mustn't let us push for speed compromise the quality of the deal. So I'm very confident it will be done, and a good deal will be done, because both sides really want that to happen.
But there have been some issues that have cropped up, and we've heard some statements as well from the UK Home Secretary herself with regards to immigration, and she believes that she doesn't want to have an open border policy because that's not what UK voted for in Brexit. So where are we heading towards? Are immigration, mobility, migration, all these issues are becoming contentious?
So I think it's very important that some random comments from the Home Secretary don't, in a sense, overshadow the really important detailed process around the trade deal, around the barriers to trade, particularly the tariffs, and then all the liberalisations that we can see in other areas as well. Now, in terms of migration, the whole question of making sure that there is appropriate migration for critical industries, that must be considered by the British government in a really thoughtful way, rather than in perhaps the throwaway comments that were made by the Home Secretary. So I wouldn't allow them to overshadow the serious discussions that are happening.
But mobility, you do believe, is a very important issue between the two sides, especially to strike a good trade deal, a comprehensive trade deal, right?
I do believe that should be part of the discussions as well. So if you look at one issue of mobility, student visas, for example, we've moved substantially on that. That's been welcomed by everybody. We can see the benefit of it. So there's clear evidence that that will be thought through properly.
As far as professionals and their mobility is concerned, India and the United Kingdom now have an agreement where the degrees are recognized. But what about professional degrees? I think there's a lot of expectation that even that should be taken up.
And I genuinely don't know what will be decided on that. I'm not in the negotiations, but I think my answer is very clear, that there is already evidence that the UK has moved on some areas. You mentioned the academic visas, and so that proves that we are prepared to think about the whole argument where it is appropriate, and that will be part of the discussions.
West Midlands, how does it believe to benefit from the trade deal?
So we potentially could be one of the really big beneficiaries of the trade deal. So if I just say that the West Midlands are very much the manufacturing heartland of the UK, and particularly in the automotive industry, and of course our biggest car manufacturer is owned by Tata of India. So there's a real, very, very firm connection. Now, if tariff barriers are reduced, an area like ours that sells premium cars will look to sell more, and indeed vice versa. We would expect that Indian exporters would also be able to export more to us if those tariff barriers are reduced. So actually we're really looking forward to that.
And in that context, even professionals who work within that sector would be vital for West Midlands, right?
Absolutely right. This is one of the key advantages the West Midlands have. Actually, we've just seen a whole host of Indian companies invest in the West Midlands. I've mentioned Tata, TVS have invested in now producing motorbikes there. Mahindra are producing as well, designing, I should say. We're seeing Ola make a commitment as well. And all of them talk about the quality of the workforce, particularly in the design and development areas. So you're absolutely right. The way in which that can be exchanged is critically important as well.
My final question to you, since we started on the subject of timelines, and you said the idea is really to have a good trade deal, comprehensive one, and negotiate it well. So then do we have no timeline now?
I don't have a timeline, but I'm sure that when let's hope the two prime ministers do meet together, as is expected. I am sure that they, from the top of government, will be very clear that what they want to achieve. But I'm very much in the camp that says, and I've done business negotiations myself, I've led big business myself, I know that you must hold out and get a really good deal, almost however long it takes.
Annie Street, many thanks for speaking with NDTV.
Thank you.
This is Maha Siddiqui for NDTV.